Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Jorge.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning.
All right, everybody. Mike Price here with the Top Producers Series. And as you know, every week I like to get in front of some top producers in our industry. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Steve Milone and Jorge Montilla. And Steve and Jorge are in our group. They joined EXP. Steve, I think you were probably 6 months ago.
Yeah, I came in like mid to late June of this year.
Okay. And Jorge, you've been about a year, right?
Yes, sir. A little over a year. So October 2020.
Okay. That's when I came in. So these gentlemen have not only joined our EXP brokers, they've also joined our group, our local group, Blueprint X, and are big contributors there. And so today we're going to talk to them a little bit about, find out a little bit about themselves and a little bit about their journey and, what brought them to EXP. Because a lot of people right now in the marketplace are hearing a lot about EXP. We're starting to get some real traction. We're at 70,000 agents worldwide now. And EXP is not a franchise. It is one brokerage. And it is very agent-centric. And there's the owner of the brokerage, and then there's the agents. And so there's no middle management. There's no market centers. There's no regional. There's none of that. It's owner agent. And so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But without further ado, so I want to introduce these guys. Steve, start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where your business is.
Okay, so I'll give you a little background on me first. I had before I got into real estate, I got into real estate about 4.5 years ago. I had a little bit of sales background for about 3 years before that, doing some advertising sales. And then, before that, as we were talking about earlier, I was actually on TV here in Atlanta. I was one of the TV weather guys. It seems like a lot of TV weather guys make the jump into real estate. Right. So I followed that lead, and here I am. But, I was with an awesome team for about 3 of those years at another brokerage. Went solo in July of last year and kind of started my own group. And we had very successful last 18 months, thankfully. And then here we are. I'm looking forward to a big year for next year. So that's kind of my journey to get to here. And then I think we'll talk more about the EXP part in just a second. Let Jorge talk a little bit about kind of his background, and then we'll talk about our journey to get to here.
Sounds good. Well, Jorge, you're up. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I guess going back to the beginning, I used to be a police officer before being in real estate. So did the police thing for a year and a half, 2 years. Just decided that it just wasn't going to be a great fit. And decided to get into entrepreneurship. So purchase a small business. Very, very small business. And I after a couple of months, I noticed that instead of being an entrepreneur and being, my own man, my own boss, I literally just became an employee of my business. So then, started planning and looking online to see, how do you become wealthy? You know what I mean? How do you become wealthy? How most people, are rich. At the moment, it was more of, how do you really make money? And, 70% of all millionaires came from real estate. So I figured, hey, that's it. So got my license, I joined a team as well, decided that after a couple of months, the team wasn't really a good fit, just in general. And then joined a big red company back in the day. It was absolutely amazing. So it was back in 2015, got rookie of the year. So about, 19, 20 homes that first year. Then I joined EXP, like I mentioned, about a year and a half ago, year and 3 months ago. And the business has doubled since 2020. Mm-hmm. 2021, we'll double the business this year that we did 2020.
A lot of people could point to about doubling your business. My business is, Scott, we did, I don't know, probably $14 million more than we did the year before. And well, it's been a great market. The market's great. Yeah, the market is great. But if you're out there in it, that getting a listing is a little bit more difficult than it was. There's more competition. And, heaven help you if you're working with buyers because we have helped a lot of buyers this year. And it is very difficult in every price point to get the buyer multiple offers, highest and best, competing against, 15 offers. And so it hadn't been easier. It's been for me, and I know you guys are right there with me, the collaboration, which we'll dig into in a little bit, the collaboration with this company is insanity. I mean, it's just unfiltered access to the best of the best of the best in the nation. And they're a phone call away, or in our case, we meet them every week in a Monday mastermind. But let's talk a little bit more about, starting with you, Steve. You came over, you made a move. I want to hear about what spurred you to make a move, because there's a lot of people out there right now that are going to watch this either now or later that may be thinking about making a move. And it seems like it's a real scary thing to do, which it kind of is. But what is your perspective? What spurred you to do that, and how did that look? And what's that done for you and your business and your family?
Right. So the move itself, I mean, we were introduced to EXP a year and a half ago when I was still with the team. We heard about it. And you hear about EXP, and you hear about, the revenue share, and you hear about the stock, and you hear about all that stuff. For me, I was not in a position just to make the move. It didn't resonate. There was, to me, it's like any kind of sales. You have to have pain to buy something. I mean, that's what sales is. It's pain relief. You're trying to, and for me, I was happy where I was. But you go through earlier this year, and there were some holes that were starting to show up in my business, as far as from a coaching standpoint, from a support standpoint, things like that. And the more I looked into EXP, the more I saw the potential for solutions there. And again, everybody talks about, the rev share and the stocks, and those are big things. And from a brokerage standpoint, the brokers, they do as good of a job here as they do, in the other places, from like an actual nuts and bolts thing. But as far as how the brokerage is built, how it's agent centric, that attracted me. And the big thing, and you said it, the collaboration of the agents. I mean, the people that we have access to being in this group, just locally. I mean, if I talk to, we're all, business partners with Stacy Wyatt. If I text him at 10:30 at night with a question, he shoots me back an answer right away.
Yep.
Mike, if I have a question for you, I text you. You shoot me back an answer. Jorge, right. We've gone, we've had lunch, we've talked, we've texted, we've gone back and forth. We help each other solve each other's problems. So it's not a competition thing. We're all working together. And when you add in some of the masterminds that we're in and some of the other big players, not only are we, with the local team Blueprint, but we're also in the Fast Forward movement, which is Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle's group, which those guys, the businesses that they're running is bananas. Just bananas crazy. And we're also within the Honey Badgers group, which is, I mean, you look at some of the stuff that they do, Michael Reese, Jake Kinder, and it's like, that's, the agents run it. Like you said, there's no middle management, but anytime we need help, it's there from agents who are in the trenches doing the work. How do I do this on a listing appointment? How do I take care of my buyer with this? How do I do this behind the scenes? How do I hire an assistant? I mean, they've gone through all this stuff, and everybody opens up their playbooks. And that was, for me, that was the final straw that I was just like, that's what I need. I need that collaboration. I need that, not necessarily a quote team, but it's like a team. Like, we're all in this together. We're all in this to serve our people. And how do I do that at the best of our ability? And like getting into EXP and that collaboration, to me, that was the final piece. And when I jumped in, it has been, 1,000 times better than what I expected. It's been awesome.
Well, you said what you said about the collaboration piece is tremendous, because there are a lot of agents, and I was one of them for a long time, think that, well, I don't want to tell Steve, how I get these listings or how I get these offers accepted, because he's going to go in there and he's going to get that business.
Right.
And Stacy White and I joke a lot. Our teams over the last 10 years, we've been blessed, and we've helped probably about 1,000 families each. And he and I have never crossed paths, and we're both in Roswell. So we've never even seen each other except for one time this past year. And that's how much business there is. And so the collaboration over competition is a mindset shift that's really we haven't seen in our normal market until we came over to this company. Not me, is me anyway, and I see you the same thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Jorge, let's hear a little bit about your journey. You were killing it at another brokerage for a while, and tell us what that looked like, the change, the move, and why you did that.
Yeah. So and again, so with me, just like Steve, there really wasn't a big pain point. I mean, I was comfortable. I was there for a really long time. I was capping every single year. It was a family and this and the other. So no complaints, nothing there. But my biggest struggle was I would go into office, I would close my door, I'll do my prospects on the other, and I would leave. I would never get any of those benefits. And again, I would reach out to any other agents. It's just not the same. Again, even though we're not in the same market, we're not financially. That's one of the best ways I can say it. We're not financially invested in each other, or we weren't financially invested in each other. So there's no reason to share. So Stacy and I Stacy Wyatt, I always followed him, and so a couple of posts that he posted in regards to investing rental properties, and I've always been interested in that. So middle of last year, I really wanted to buy a couple of more investment properties. Had lunch with him, had that conversation, and without him asking for anything, he gave me his entire playbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like admin, absolutely everything. I'm like, holy crap! Like companies would charge thousands of dollars to have all of this. You know what I mean? Like contract to close, pre-listing, absolutely everything. All the emails and this and that. He just printed it, gave it to me, and off to the races. But anyways, that was the big one for me. That was the eye opener for me. It was like, if I'm here, he's willing to share. Imagine if we were to collaborate together. Imagine if we were to be on the same quote unquote team, modern team together. And that's exactly how it's been. Not only Stacy now, is Steve, is Mike, is Casey. Casey is awesome at social media, and we're going to meet next week to again, her playbook. What does she do? How does she, so that's the reason why EXP didn't double my business by me being surrounded by these rock stars and all of these guys sharing their information, their knowledge. Because Mike, I mean, how long have you been in business?
Oh wow, man! I was full time, 11 years.
11 years. I think Stacy is the same, 12 years in, I believe, 11 or 12 years in. So I'm 5 years in. So imagine me being able to plug into your 12 years of knowledge. Stacy's 11 years of knowledge. Casey's, I believe, 7 years. And all these different niches. The same thing. Stacy, he's really, really strong at Sphere and referrals. I'm pretty weak at that. So I was like, hey, Stacy, so what are you doing to work your Sphere? What's the plan? Gave me the entire budget for 2021, his entire literally line by line, because he's very detailed, line by line, like, hey, January 1st is what we do, 2nd, 3rd, there's the emails, these are the vendors. I mean, that's $50,000 worth of information for free. You know what I mean? So anyways, and being able to pour into others without having to join or build the quote unquote modern team. That was a big one. Again, stock is absolutely amazing. Ref share is great. All of the other benefits, that's awesome. Good. But the reason why I joined was being able to collaborate with some top producers.
Well, you said, you said a lot of cool things there. The collaboration piece is probably the key to all of this. And you said, your business didn't double because you joined EXP. I mean, when you join EXP or you join Sotheby's, you join whoever, you've got to plug in and take advantage of what they have. And if you don't, like a lot of people think, I'm going to switch brokerages and keep switching, and I'm going to go over here to this one because it's a pretty office and all this, and I'm going to do a lot of business. If you don't plug in and take advantage of the resources, none of that's going to happen. And, like you guys, I came over the same thing, not only Stacy, but way up the food chain, guys that are doing, like Steve said, bananas. I mean, ridiculous numbers that you think wouldn't even have the time of day. And they're like, hey, man, how about my calendar? What do you need? You got this problem from $35 million problem. We did that 3 years ago. Here's what we did. And it's like, wow. And being with other brokerages, and you know, I too was with a different company, and I have a lot of good friends that are still there, and I have relationships, and it was a great place to grow my business at that time. But one of the things that was missing was the piece where I could go to the higher producers in the office and get their playbook. It wasn't available. It was never a mean, no, you can't have it. It was just, and you could never really get it. Let's talk about the mastermind for a second. So
yes,
we're in a mastermind every week on Mondays, 1:00. It's called the Monday Morning Mastermind because the guys doing it, Dan Beer and Kyle Whistle are out in California. If I had to put my finger on one thing that has done more than anything, it would probably be plugging into that weekly. And I've only missed maybe a handful in a year. And that is a mastermind led by two guys that are doing, you know, close to $1 billion in production.
I was going to say they do what, $400 to $500 million each of their teams. So they're about $1 billion in production between the two.
Yeah, Dan's at 600 and Kyle's about 400, and Kyle's like a huge influencer, you know, video. I mean, he's just insane. Dan is, you know, a farming guru, and these guys lead this mastermind. And it's been like yesterday or Monday, I think you guys may have been on it. There was 300 people on this thing.
Yep.
And they were talking about open houses, and you know, you're thinking, oh, an open house, but the way they laid out the open houses, here's how we do it with our team. And it was like, wow, you know, I don't do open houses like that. No wonder you guys do 100 deals a year from your open houses. So
exactly.
Tell me your experience, Steve, with this mastermind group that we meet every week, and what that's done for you in your business.
I mean, the amazing thing about that is I remember the one week, and I texted Stacy in the middle of it. I was like, could you believe that? Because there was a guy from Detroit. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but they have a monster team. They're going to do like, I think he said 1,100 deals this year.
Mark Z.
Yeah. Just a monster team in Detroit. And in the middle of the thing, Dan Beer says, all right, I'm going to push back on you, and I want to give you a little bit of feedback, and I want to push on. And he's like, yeah, tell me or whatever. And it's like, this guy has 110 or 1,100 deals, monster team, and Dan Beer is coaching him live on this thing. I'm here for free. And you're just notes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's every week. Like, you know, that is like a non-negotiable hour for me. And I mean, every week I've taken stuff out of there that I've already implemented in my listing appointments and already implemented into my business that have, and I've seen tangible results where, you know, we've picked up business and we've picked up efficiencies because of the stuff that we learn in this. Because you're not learning from, you know, from theory and from coaches that, you know, were in production 10 years ago. You're learning from you know, the renegades that are out there running and gunning right now and getting done in this market, you know, and they got their thumb on the pulse of this market, and they just have their playbooks wide open every Monday.
And you said, you know, it's a nugget every week. It's free. It's part of being in the group.
Right.
There's no coaching. It's like being in, I've been told it's like being in Gary Keller's mastermind every week. I mean, it's just, and even more because there's probably, I don't know, there's probably 30 or 40 people on the call that are north of 300, 200, 300 million in volume. And they're like Mark Z, who's selling 1,100 homes, was like open to coaching. And then if any of us want to talk to Mark Z or Dan, all we have to do is just hit them up on Facebook and get on the calendar. And it's just, you want a 30-minute call? You want an hour call? What do you want? Just put it on the calendar.
That was the first thing I noticed when I came in the blueprint and Stacy sent me all the information. And it's just amazing how I'm a C personality at heart, but Stacy Y puts me to shame. How organized he is about it. He's amazing. But part of what was sent was you get a link to Kyle Whistle and Dan Beer's Calendly calendar. And they have time set aside for people within the Fast Forward movement if you want to talk to him. So it's like, seriously, I could grab 15 minutes with Kyle Whistle, like any week, if I wanted to talk about my business. You know, where are my pain points? How do I, like, you think he might have the solutions? It's like, it's crazy.
And they just rattle it off. It's like that. And coaching, you know, I was paying $1,500 a month in coaching for, I don't know, 10 years. and for 30 minutes. And my coach was great. My last one was my favorite, and we're still friends. But it wasn't quite enough. It wasn't really, it wasn't what I needed.
Right.
It still was good. But Jorge, so the mastermind. What's your experience with this mastermind? How do you like it?
Yeah, no. So just like you, Mike, probably 6 months in after I got into real estate, I got into coaching. And again, nothing against my previous coaches. I had great coaches, but being able to plug into people that are actually doing it, top producers that are running teams every single day, where some of my coaches in the past haven't been in production for years. You know what I mean? So a lot of it may not be relevant. But these guys, and it's not only Dan and Kyle, is some top guys from Detroit, South Carolina. You know what I mean? I believe it was another gentleman, Denver. But one of the biggest nuggets that I got was the last one I could remember was the ISAs. Like, when you're building a team, none of the leads should be going to none of the, Facebook, those kind of leads should be going to the agents. Send it to the ISA. Send it to a W-2 paid employee that is paid to nurture those leads. Once they're ready, book an appointment, send it over to the agents. I mean, that alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the amount of time that saved me. Now I don't have to follow up with my top 100. I just follow up with my top 16. You know what I mean? So now I can be a lot more vested in those conversations, because I only got to do 3 to 4 follow-ups a day, but I can do, I can have 16, 20-minute conversations with those people and pour into them and go deep, where before I had to follow up with 20 people. Like, I got somebody on the phone, I'm a high D. So I got somebody on the phone. I was like, I want to get off the phone because I got to go to the next person. So that one nugget alone, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to go through all of them, but that one nugget alone has changed our business drastically. And then the last part I wanted to mention, Mike, because it's natural. Like, it's nothing against those other brokerages or those other teams, but it's natural for people to hold back. Because at the end of the day, our personality, our human beings, is what's in it for me. That's the first thing we think about. Even if we, what's in it for me? What am I getting out of this? Well, in our group, we're all financially vested. The better you do, the more homes you sell, the more the company grows, the higher the stock value goes, the more amazing people we get in these masterminds and collaborate at an even larger level. You know what I mean? So even at the XP Con, we want to grow, we want to expand, we want to go into different countries to, again, pour into each other, pour into one another, and keep on growing. So that's the reason, because I know a lot of people are going to ask, like, why would a top producer, somebody selling, $600,000, $600 million in production, pour into, others and spend an hour? Because obviously the time is valuable. And that's it. First of all, they're givers, and it's worth their time because we're all financially, invested in each other.
Well, we're all financially aligned, and that's a perfect segue into wealth. All of us sell real estate because we want to help people and make money and build a future. And there's a lot of ways. The average millionaire has 7 income streams at least. And so selling real estate, you really only have one income stream, and that's your commission.
Yep.
And with our broker, GXP, you have 3 pillars of income streams. You have your of course, your commission income, and then you have stock, which you can purchase at each transaction, or you can get it gifted to you when you hit different production awards. And by the way, when you join the company, you get stock right away, so you're an owner that's gifted to you. And then there's the revenue share, which, just so everybody out there knows, is not it's not a pyramid scheme. It is the same exact model that Keller Williams has. It's the same thing. They call it profit share. The difference is revenue share comes right off the top. So there's no brick and mortar. There's no market centers, 800 and plus market centers to pay for. And there's no team leaders to pay for that do all the recruiting. There's no regional. There's none of that. And so half of the revenue goes back to the agent. Now, out of 70,000 agents, there's only 12% of all those agents are actually participating in revenue share. And to do that, you have to sponsor someone into the company.
Right.
Most agents come and I just want to sell more homes and be in a collaborative environment. That's great. Some agents want to grow their revenue share line. I know the 3 of us are inviting a lot of agents into the company because people are calling us saying, hey, I see what you're doing here. it looks like your business is flourishing. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing. And so, you know, what you said earlier, Jorge, the reason that the playbooks are open is because everybody, a rising tide raises all ships. The better that we do, the better the stock is. And the more people that join this company, obviously it's a publicly traded company, EXPI, and it is blowing up. I mean, we can't talk about any stock or revenue share numbers here on this video, but it's just going north all the time. And, you know, tell me a little bit about that piece for you guys. Are you guys participating in the stock program at all?
Yes. Jorge, I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah.
I went first last time.
Yeah, so that's I mean, honestly, so again, I've been in it for about a year and 2 months. Probably for the first 12 months, I'm a very, you know, I keep to myself, and you know what I mean, like, you know, but I didn't talk to anyone about this company. I didn't talk to anyone about EXP. It's working for me. I'm getting the collaborations and the other. That's it. But now that I've been in it for a year and I've seen all the benefits, man, I'm preaching it from the mountaintops. So yes, I am part of the so one of the best things is, I mean, you have to be, you know, vested. You are an owner as soon as you join. You know, the first transaction that you close, you get stock. The first deal in the year, you get stock. When you cap, you get stock. And when you hit Icon, which is capping and then selling an additional 20 houses, you hit so again, we can't talk about numbers, but by me doing the same thing that I was doing in my previous brokerage, again, I capped every single year. I capped 5 times. It's a lot. I mean, a lot of money I was given to the company, and I got a nice little hat, which I'm grateful for. You know what I mean? It was great. No complaints.
Yep.
But now I get stocks. You know what I mean? Now I get thousands upon thousands of dollars every year for doing the same thing I was doing before. And again, I doubled my business from last year. So doing more business, and I'm getting stocks. The stock could hit $1 tomorrow. I'm still making more money than any other brokerage. You know what I mean? Like the stock could, because again, they're rewarding you for doing your job. They're rewarding you because they know that at the end of the day, the agent in this whole pyramid, not us, but the other brokerages, you know, the owners, you know, market centers, this and the other, we're the most valuable. And without the agents, there's no production.
None of it works.
Yeah, the ball doesn't move. You know what I mean? So EXP understands that, so therefore they reward you for either sharing, you know, that information and bringing people on, and producing.
Well, what you got the agent here on the bottom in most brokerages, and then it goes all the way to the top. Our company, the agent's on the top, right? And if a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, you're buying stock, the stock's going down." First of all, the other companies don't even offer it. Number one. Number two, why would you not, if you have an opportunity to pay yourself instead of paying the owner, right? So instead of paying the royalty fee to the company, which is revenue share, right? Or paying you can get your cap back in stock if you hit certain requirements, certain production requirements. But it's, why not pay yourself and put that money into your own plan where it can grow over time, right? Steve, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, when I talk to people about it, I always say if there was no rev share and there was no stock, and it was just the brokerage, it was just a collaboration that we have here, I would still have made the jump to EXP.
Yeah. 100%.
Because of all the coaching opportunities, because of all that, the technology that we have, the access to KV Core, Sky Slope, you know, the world access we have, the brokers. I mean, all that. So to me, yeah, then you add rev share and stock on top of it. And you said it right off the top. We're owners in the company. I mean, and you don't have to, you know, give up your money or whatever. Once you do your first, you know, you complete your first sale, you help your first family under the EXP umbrella, you get stock. So you're in. And like Jorge said, there's all the different ways that you can get the stock. You can buy it at every transaction, which I do. And then, you know, the rev share, it's just shouting from the rooftops. When I first moved over, you know, you didn't know what you didn't know. I was happy I made the move, But as each month has gone on, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize this. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize this. So it's like at first, I love my last brokerage. I love where I was. I love the team there. I love the team leader. I love the people. It was a great place to be. This is just the next step. So it was naturally hard to make that step. It's hard to jump into the unknown, which a lot of this was jumping into the unknown. But every month is like, thank God I made the move. Thank God I made the move. But that's the thing. It's like I was telling people, and it's weird, before I left the last brokerage, people were coming out of school, friends of mine were saying, where should I go? And I was pointing them towards EXP just because I knew I was leaning that way, but it just made too much sense, and the rev share and the stock they're just the icing on the cake and the cherries on top, that really just made it the right destination. As
our good friend Jay Kinder said, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Unsee it.
And what you said, Steve, just then, I feel the same way. I know Jorge does too. If there was no stock or no revenue share, I would still be here because of the collaboration. And that was the main thing whether you're selling, 10 homes a year or you're selling 210, at some point you need help getting to the next step. Now you can spend a lot of time, trial and error and money figuring it out and pay a lot of money for coaching and try to beg everybody in the office to give it to you. With here, it's right there. And even in that mastermind last week was 300 people. There was probably 150 people, 200 people at least, that are blowing our doors that we could call any of them and go, hey, I'm here. I'm having this problem. I'm kind of stuck at this rut. Can you tell me what you did? And we can get that information from multiple people and then implement that. Like Jorge was saying, it's all about implementation. And that's where the glue is. I mean, that's where what it's all about is collaboration, implementation. And then that's why this thing is growing. And that's why this company is growing. And that's why you and I and Jorge are all having such a good run here, because it's like being in the club again. It's like being in this group of people that everybody's pouring in. I mean, and I don't know, Jorge, you were out in Vegas with me. That was insanity, man. It was like just everybody's hugging. We're all Facebook friends and in this group, and we're all hugging like we've known each other for 20 years. And
that's another benefit. I had no idea we're having fun. And I keep hearing that, like, oh, having fun again, this and the other from some guys that have been in the business for 30, 40 years. Again, I only been in the business for 5 years, but I've always kept to myself. But again, we're gonna have lunch tomorrow. Casey, I'm gonna probably be in her office next week. And it's just like it's just fun. We have we're texting each other and the other. It's actually fun. We have I don't know if you mentioned already, but we have a smaller mastermind, local mastermind on Thursdays. Same thing. So it's just it's different. It's different. You're not alone. You don't have to be a lone wolf anymore. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars for a guru to give you the secret sauce. The top 5 ways you didn't know to double your business next year. Right. There's no need for that anymore. Like the gatekeepers aren't there anymore. By plugging into you have everything. As a brand new agent, a seasoned agent, a top producer. Again, we have people selling $500 million a year, $600 million a year. Veronica Figueroa, she's our the number one in production now. She's selling 1,700 houses a year. Yeah. In one city, like it isn't an expansion. It isn't like she's in different cities and this and the other. In one city, Orlando, Florida, she's selling 1,700 homes a year. She just purchased a home in Puerto Rico. I congratulated her on Instagram, and she replied. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just it's different.
Well, you said, I want to point something out that you just said, and thanks for about it was an expansion. So with EXP, if you're running a team, it's one cap. You can expand to any city, any state, no borders, no red tape.
Any country.
It's just, you just go. You got to be compliant in that city, but there's none of that having to pay a bunch of money and go out to Texas and be in this thing for 3 days. It's like you just go. There's no limitations. If you are a broker, if you have a brokerage, and I've got friends that own brokerages and have owned them, the biggest headache with a brokerage is the compliance piece of being the broker. And that's probably the least dollar productive part of it. is being the broker because it takes you out of production. Brokers can come over here and have their same team, ABC real estate team brokered by EXP. The only thing they're giving up is the brokerage piece. And really, frankly, who wants that if you're growing a big business? I mean, you can grow that as big as you want and not have to do the compliance part on the back end.
Yeah, I think I heard Kyle Whistle said something about that. It's like he thought about doing that at one point, and he's like, wait a minute, that's the cap. All I do is pay that, and that's off my plate. Like, 15, 20 hours at least a week, and that's off my plate. Somebody else does it, and I can just focus on taking care of my people. Like, sold. Where do I sign up?
Well, that's why Kyle moved his brokerage over, right? He had 60 people. And so he went from probably, I don't know, I think it was around maybe 100-something million when he came over. Well, giving the brokerage piece up and letting EXP do it has allowed him over the last 3 or 4 years to really focus on, like you said, helping his people, growing his team. And he's grown his brokerage. He's like quadrupled the production, brought on more people, and it's even more streamlined than it was because he's got the time to focus on it.
Right.
And he's teaching his people how to invest. He's teaching his people how to learn how to do stocks. He's learning people how to attract agents. And he's teaching them all these different revenue streams that normally he wouldn't have to do because he's working on compliance stuff all the time. And so, and if you have a big team, if you have a huge mega team, I mean, mega teams, and we can't really give the numbers out here, but if you have a mega team that's selling, 170, if you have 10 licensed agents or 175 deals a year, the cap goes to like a quarter cap. And like, what a great attraction piece and benefit for your team that you can offer your agents to save them all that money. And so,
it makes it a much more attractive piece to bring in agents if you're growing that team that look at all this stuff that we have here, and we've got the quarter cap on top of it.
That's right.
I mean,
well, guys, listen, I want to say, thanks so much for taking the time today to be here. There's a lot of people that watch these. They may not watch them live, but they go back and watch them for a long time. And there's something in here that somebody needs to hear. So what you guys brought to the table today is so valuable. Thank you so much. And in a parting shot here, Steve, start with you. If you could say, if there's somebody out there at any level that's thinking about growing a real estate business or making a switch, what would you say to them about that?
First of all, I'd say be open-minded about it. A lot of people put up the barrier and say, I'm not doing it. And that's where I was for a long time. Once I kind of brought the barrier down, and I said, you know what? I'm going to have conversations. As soon as I started having conversations, then it's like, whoa. And I saw it and I couldn't unsee it. That's number one. Number two, sit down with somebody who's actually going to sit down with you and really, and not sell you, but is going to guide you, that really knows, that is more interested in from a collaboration standpoint. I was talking with a good friend of mine where he's with another brokerage. He was trying to make a decision and he decided to stay with that brokerage. And I was 100% like, that makes the most sense for you. That makes the most sense for you. Go for it. I'm right here for you. Sit down with somebody that's willing to do that. That's willing to say, you know what? EXP doesn't make sense for you. Where you are right now makes sense. But, if you want to come, this is what it is. Be sure you're sitting down with that person. Don't be sitting down with a person that has, that's like, no, you have to come over. You have to come over. Talk to somebody that has your best interest at heart and is not looking to sell you, but they're looking to just say, this is what it is. How can I help you?
Exactly.
Jorge, find that, but that's what I'd say.
Yeah. So honestly, my kind of along with what Steve just mentioned, start with the end in mind, especially if you're a newer agent, 5-6 years, which is where I was when I joined. Start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be in 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now? You know what I mean? Do you still, and again, no judgment. Do you still want to go to listing appointments? Do you still want to show houses? And this and the other. Do you actually want to build a team? Because again, we joined this industry because we want money and we want freedom. It's hard to have both. From what one of the best things I've heard about this company is this company has allowed a lot of agents, is one of the only ways to be able to have more time, more freedom, and more money, which you just don't see it. But anyways, start with the end in mind. Figure out where you want to be in the next 10, 15, 20 years. What does your business look like? And does your current brokerage or does your brokerage, if you own it, will it get you there? You know what I mean? Because if it's not, then you need to explore other options. I'm not saying it's not for everybody. We're not going to recruit every single person, every single agent out there. It's not for everybody, but you owe it to yourself to know what you're saying no to. Right. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that'll be, know what you're saying no to.
I took a call yesterday from a local brokerage franchise, and the lady was super nice. And we started talking about it, and she said, "It sounds like you're doing well over there. I thank you for taking my call." And I said, "Listen, I'm always looking for something better. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business person. I'm always looking for something better." And my take on this to everybody out there, and there's a lot of friends of mine that may or may not watch this, or anybody out there, like Steve said, Jorge, have an open mind. I let my ego get in the way, and I stiff-armed it for probably a year. And I mean, I'm not talking to you. I don't want to hear it. Stop calling me. And I didn't want to hear it. Had I done that a year earlier, it would have been a much different scenario than now. I'm still great. It's still good. But have an open mind. If you have a brokerage, if you have a big team, if you're a solo agent, you should be thinking about the end game. What does that look like in 10 years and 15 years? And if that looks like you're still selling houses in 15 years, that's probably not the right plan, because there's no retirement party for a realtor other than a funeral, right?
Yeah, agreed.
But have an open mind and not just don't just look at EXP. Look at all of the players in the Atlanta market. And if you're national, look at the players in your market. Look at every brokerage and really do your homework and see which one, not only from a culture, but a financial aspect, which one do you think would be the best? And go with that one. And it may not be this one. It may be some other. And like Steve said, that's great. We still support you, and we're still friends. I just, you do what's best for you. I'm gonna do what's best for me. But I think we all agree that
I think all of our minds have changed since we joined EXP, and we've seen that collaboration piece.
Oh yeah.
Now that's not just for us in EXP. And if I talk to somebody from another brokerage, I'm not going to collaborate with you. You ask me a question, if you're somewhere else, I'm going to answer the question. I think the two of y'all are going to do the same thing. So I mean, it's a different mindset,
It is, and it's something that's it's the main thing that I love about this company is the people that are there. It just feels like a family. The culture is incredible. It's just everybody wins, and it's just there's no stone unturned when you need an answer from a question, right?
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sign off. Top Producer Series. Mike Price sign off. Thank you so much, Steve and Jorge, for your time today and sharing a little bit about yourself and your journey. And we'll do this again in about 6 months and do a recap. Does that sound good?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, gentlemen. Have a great day. Everybody have a great, powerful day. If you need anything, you can reach out to any of us. Hit us on Facebook, Instagram, or direct message, whatever we can do to help you.
Smoke, whatever you got to do, man. We're here.
Have an awesome day. See you guys.
Appreciate you.
Bye.